Heeda bada heeda heeda. That's right, yeah. Just checking the volume level there. That's right, that's right. That's the right volume. Ah, yeah. Oh! Oh, yes. Just got everything sorted out there. I recommend this to anybody out there. Utility spray duster. Perfect when you want to clean hard to get to places, especially on your own body. Hello, Johnny. Good to see you again.
Hello.
Even though I can't see you.
I know that'll be fixed soon. Don't worry.
One day. It's
Yeah.
I just I had to do an emergency video now because after this letter I've got from
You know, the week doesn't feel right unless I speak to you at least once. So I'm glad you
well,
invited me.
you did speak to me in the week earlier, I think, but
That's true.
uh, I got a 20-page letter from,
Wow.
well, I will only call her by her stage
Code
name,
stage name, yeah.
Charlotte Nightstall. And,
Yeah, when you told me that, I originally thought you were just like, oh, maybe joking around, but now I'm thinking you're dead serious. Oh my God.
no, it's something which obviously is
It kind of rattled you a bit.
not, I didn't expect it, but on the other hand, uh, it has, had already, I think, within probably, I think I got it about an hour ago.
Okay.
I provide my email on the YouTube channel, so
Wow.
obviously Charlotte Nightstar has seen that and thought, yes, I need to apologise to James
Mm.
because he's a very much one of the best people online and a good
Oh, for
person.
sure. No, for sure.
And I want
Did
to
you
say
print it out?
sorry
Because
to
it
him.
sounds like a lot of paper. Did you print it out?
No, I don't want to. I don't want. And
Mm.
my printer is not actually working because I can't connect it with this
Well, maybe I can help you
ThinkPad
offline one day.
Bluetooth. But I need
Okay.
a cable, I think. But
Okay.
you know, it's not so much a case of wanting to print it out. I just want to think about it in my head now and what
Mm.
what was said really. Just I will give you a kind of summary of the whole thing, but it basically starts off saying dear James, excuse me at this late time, late in terms of after everything, and we've not been
Yeah.
in touch for months now. But it just occurred to me, especially after last week's video, which you did, where you expressed everything, and then also the apology video.
Mm.
I want to thank you for doing that apology video, and you are a great man.
Mm.
And it started like that, and I was like, well,
Yeah.
you know, fair enough. If that's what you see me as, I won't
Hmm.
argue with it.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
then I sort of, anyway, carried on, and it says, I really like your apology. I think you make a good case
Is this what it
of
said?
how.
This is word for word, really. This is how she said it, and
No, well, I'm summarising it, but
oh, okay,
I am giving you it in her kind of style, I
okay,
would hope. And
okay.
basically, she says, I appreciate your apology
Hmm.
video, which you said, you know, was basically about. Oh, it's my. Oh no. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, everything's good.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I was just having a slight connection problem. But you basically are a good person, and many people in your chat and everything
Mm.
don't really measure up to your high standards, I would say.
Mm.
She said,
Okay.
and but I appreciate the apology, which essentially she sees as me apologising on others' behalves,
Mm.
as in, because basically, as she puts it, you don't have anything to apologise for. If anything, I want to thank you for helping me on the road to stardom.
Okay. That's good.
So I basically, looked at that and thought, this is pretty amazing to have got this. But then it continued with saying, I'm glad you deleted the video, or not deleted, but I hid the Sunday video because it revealed a lot of things with regards to basically sort of Voltaire having extramarital affairs and things like this. And she said,
Yeah. Okay.
she said, that's not your responsibility, but she says, I appreciate you not basically supporting his actions, condoning it as such.
I kind of hope one day you change your mind, because it was an okay video we did. It was still an okay video. Nothing too bad.
Well, I think if anybody was going to see it anyway, I think that they will have seen it already. But I think once a certain time has passed, then maybe
if you change your mind, it's up to you.
I'll hide it, but I don't think anyone will really
notice
by that point. Anyway.
It's back. Everybody, it's on all the Facebook things.
No, like 100 possible people watching it. I mean, anyway, if you're there now in the chat and you want to talk, then please, just drop your comments. But I think the main important thing that I got from this letter, I mean, the rest of it was about just basically, saying, I don't blame you for your strong reactions to my fan fiction and things like that. If anything, it spurred me on to do better, And she says, and thank you for that. And here is, she actually made a sort of certificate saying, I was basically a great tutor of potential Twin Peaks fan fiction writers by essentially, being highly critical, hypercritical even. And it said, at the top, this is a certificate awarding James Woolley, high esteem and 5 stars, which were embossed on it, for being highly critical of fan fiction, especially if it's fan fiction about Twin Peaks. That's a very specific thing that you're an expert in.
Yeah, in all seriousness, I would, if I was writing something, you're my definite go-to for the ins and outs, for sure. In all seriousness, and I would recommend anybody.
Well, I think this certificate, I've already I framed it and put it on my wall.
Oh, you definitely.
And it earlier, and I was just, it did make me feel. Honestly, I was looking at it and I kind of became aroused.
Congrats. Yeah, like I said, some of our best conversations we ever had was right when I started. Some amazing Twin Peaks conversations.
Yeah, like the first week.
We were in the zeitgeist.
And then after that, really, it was just like, what's gone wrong now?
He's still here. John's still around. He hasn't left yet.
Well, I'm part of the equation as well, so maybe I'm to blame as well. So, I think you could say, why would anyone stick around in a fan community that would want them as a member for this long? But the thing is, I don't feel like I've been fully embraced by that fan community anyway. I can't imagine really what that must feel like. But to be honest, if I was, I would end up, no doubt, making a mess of it deliberately.
Deliberately? You go out of your way.
Well, I would. Yeah, it's that question. It's the whole thing of you don't want to be a member of a club that would have you, basically, as Groucho Marx said or something.
Yeah, he did say that.
It's sort of because it feels clammy and a bit, So who are these people? Why would they accept me? I mean, I'm just a wretched person, and they're sort of saying, "Oh, this is good, that's good that you've done," but in reality, it's just basically preaching to the choir, isn't it? Yeah. It's a bit like, I don't know, it's a bit like Jack Nicholson's situation in the film One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Where he's basically embraced by them so that they make him feel needed and wanted, and,
And
you
I
know,
know-
like he's
yeah.
actually sane, when in reality, of course, he's not. You know.
No.
So
And again, I wish you had watched The Sopranos. There's an excellent scene where Tony has that self moment where he's looking around and everybody's laughing at a joke, a very little joke he made, but it's like the greatest thing ever. It's kind of in slow motion. He sees everybody's faces. It's kind of, he's realizing literally what you're saying, kind of, you're in that crowd of just kind of yes men, singing to the choir,
yeah, I think, I think it's true of probably any sort of specific group of people who are into, say, like one TV show,
Yeah.
one book or something, or one I don't know, author. I mean, it's going to be within that confine. Then you're going to not necessarily reach the highest level of critical response, are you? You're more likely to be just like, and there's people just, obviously, lowest common denominator often kind of rides out, where there's people just sort of putting pictures of like memes and, well, I mean, if you have a look at Twin Peaks Worldwide as it is now, the page,
It's been a while, but you have to check it out.
Cameron is in charge of it, but when I look at some of the things he puts as pictures, and they're like, photos, and they get 100 and sort of, I don't know, 600 likes for basically, the most trivial things, really. And I mean, I admire it just as much as I admire somebody who, works in a factory making food or something, or Meals on Wheels or ready meals. I mean, it's a real function, but it's just, there's no actual sort of real
It's a good way to
creativity as such.
Yeah, but it's a good way to keep engagement. That would be my pro to it. It's like
no, but that's what he's doing. I mean,
Yeah.
there is a talent to be able to keep doing it in a productive fashion. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
And so I give him. I mean, he wanted to do it because he wanted to sort of grow the page.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right
Which
now.
I wasn't really doing. So. So don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to sort of like criticise Cameron or anything like that.
No.
It's more just sort of like when there's no real, I don't know, it's just creatively speaking, I don't feel like there's some kind of real thing going on, any kind of spur for creativity within the Twin Peaks community as a whole, or, in terms of its mainstream areas like that on Facebook, like groups on Facebook, basically.
Yeah.
I mean,
There
Reddit or something like that is somewhat different, probably. I'm sure DeviantArt or something like that is different as well. But yeah,
True.
I just mean within a sort of more easy to find kind of outlet for it all. There's no real. I mean, like when Twin Peaks: The Return appeared, there were people doing all these different graphics and creations about Jowday and the mark on the card that Mr. C wanted, and so on. But now, I mean, that in itself is not immensely creative, because all you're doing is just basically, you're just drawing something from something which is already out there. But on the other hand, I understand the urge to do so because they like it, and they want to do their own thing and all that. But
for sure,
yeah, I just think now it's like everything is so quiet and sort of there's literally nothing coming from the Lynch camp, or
can I ask you a question?
A lot of people associated with it. So.
Do you feel that it's too quiet on purpose, i.e., maybe something is being hidden, or do you literally feel it's too quiet because there isn't? I guess would be the question. Like, do you feel there is something in the works that's why with the quietness and the secrecy? Just a question. I just kind of Or is there a hopefulness, I guess, that there could be? It's another one.
Not really. I'm not. I mean, personally, I don't have any massive sort of hopes or dreams about, the world of Lynch or Twin Peaks or anything like that. I would only hope like that whatever he's been doing,
Yeah.
is something he wants to do. That
sure.
it doesn't make any difference to me what, as long as he enjoys it. I would say, like at this late stage, I'm not expecting him to embark on another season of Twin Peaks, like 18 episodes or something. That would just be, I think that would be just totally unrealistic expectations, and we would have heard about something if that was the intention from him,
That's
at least.
true.
I think
Yeah.
I think in the future somebody could carry on with Twin Peaks in some way, shape, or form, as long as, say, Mark Frost is involved as well. And I don't know, Lynch has worked on it somewhat, but I think Lynch wants to do whatever he is interested in at the moment. But
Yeah.
like Christabel is obviously not online, since about last autumn. Lynch the same, really, around the same time. So I think, people write these things online about, oh, it's because that's when Angelo Badalamenti passed away. So, and I think to that, I don't think Lynch is particularly sort of preoccupied with that particularly, in terms of a sentimental attachment particularly. I don't think he would be just sort of sitting around morose because a friend who he's only seen on and off has passed away. I think it could spur him on to do more work in a way, creatively. But I mean, from his own personal sort of the way Lynch thinks, he thinks that if someone passes away like that, it's almost like the soul becomes untethered, and it easily just pops out, especially if it's someone pretty old, like as Angelo Badalamenti was. That's, his belief. And, I think he's more preoccupied with that kind of thing rather than thinking, oh no, I can't go online or I can't do anything like, I can't do the weather reports because Angelo's died.
No.
I mean,
No, you make a good point.
I don't really think that it's connected in quite as straightforward a way as that. I think, like, he said, to somebody asked him about the weather reports, why are you not doing them now? Everything, why have you stopped? And he says, because it just allows me to sleep later, and that's it. So, if he gives that answer, then I just take Lynch as being very straightforward most of the time. I mean, especially nowadays. The older he's got, the more straightforward he is in the way he talks, I think. But
I like that, yeah.
because there's no point, just messing around with, like, it's not like he's trying to be cryptic. He's genuinely saying that. But if you've read any, interviews with Lynch over the years and books about Lynch, etc., which I've got a few.
I haven't, but every time you've explained or told me parts of it, sounds very interesting, very intriguing. I sent you a little message too in the private chat just to ask you something.
Yeah, like he often said, so in an interview, like he was asked, what time do you sleep and get up and stuff? Like a long time ago, this was, and he said if I was left to my own devices, I would pretty much go to bed at 3, get up by about 10, which I thought was sort of oddly specific. But he said he said that at night, the cold night winds come in at about 3 and stuff like this. I think obviously he was talking about something more about in Hollywood and stuff.
Deeper or something. Yeah, right. Yeah. I sent you a little private chat just to ask you something beforehand.
Okay, but
I'm always asking for.
I appreciate.
Yeah.
You've expressed 2 different people now. So.
One or the other, or both. It's up to you. That's why I'm asking from now on. I don't want to make the mistake of just doing.
But you could have. I mean, do you mean that either of those 2 want to come on?
Yes.
Which? Mandela Man?
I think so, yes.
Okay, so as soon as Mandela Man comes on, it's basically just going to kind of totally interrupt our conversation.
No, that's what I'm going to ask you for.
And then his brother's going to be in the background as well, so, does Voltaire want to come on? Have you contacted him?
He was on about 5 minutes ago, but I didn't want to send a pre-link because I'm never going to, because it's your show, I'm never just going to, send them on.
Well, no, I mean, last Sunday you just sent it to him, but...
Yeah, I've learned that lesson not to just, if you don't want me to,
No, it's more just like a question of. I think everything is better if we plan things. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
for sure. And I agree with you when you
Between
like,
us, if there's
yeah,
no real conversation about things, then it essentially becomes just let's just talk about anything, and then at this late hour for me, it's like 11:21. I would have no problem with Voltaire coming on, for instance, but with Mandela Man, I just don't understand what exactly he wants to talk about, and then some of the things he touches on, I really like. I'm not a fan of, like he's brought up paedophilia sometimes, and then like people being zapped by some kind of government ray in a place where there's like more than 100 people died and things. It just seems like totally distracting and pointless.
okay, that's what I thought I'd ask.
Idiotic. I would even go so far as to say, unfortunately. And he'll say, "Oh, he's being censored," but I mean, it's not his show, is it? It's my show. I'm doing it. So to think that he's being censored is idiotic. And again, just a poor excuse. So, like I said, get Voltaire on, fine.
I'll try. Yes, my friend.
Well, no, I don't mean try. Just like if we can't get
Just
him on
get it
within
done.
5 minutes,
Yeah.
I don't know why you don't accept the fact that he's basically. That's it. I don't want this every week, like you basically saying, "Oh, I'm going to bring Voltaire on,"
Oh no, no. That's why I thought I'd just
because it
send you a
basically
private
means like
message.
I'll end up doing these shows on my own, pretty much, unless then I'll find new people in the future, because it's
Yeah, I
just
hear
we seem to be trapped in this like little
you.
gaggle of people who just basically talk bullshit.
I hear you, bro.
Honestly.
I hear you.
And you've said it to me. You've said, what's. I don't understand why we have to talk politely about anything. You're the one saying, like, what the hell's, going on there with when Mandela Man was
Background
on and
noise and
stuff.
stuff. Yeah, because you've always wanted to keep it professional. Like if you're talking, you should be either an avatar and or on screen, right? Not in the background.
I actually like speaking to Mandela Man one on one, just me and him. But
You
when he
guys have some
comes in,
great
and
conversations.
it's with you as well, and then especially with Voltaire as well, I just find it literally is like one flew over the cuckoo's nest, and inevitably it ends up with me just being shouted over, people talking over me when I'm like the one person doing the video, like.
No, I hear you.
So basically, f you others, if that's what you're going to be to me. I'm not,
No, I hear you.
I'm not like here to just be treated like shit, basically.
When you bring up the one
So
flew over the cuckoo's nest, that keeps reminding me of another movie with Michael Keaton.
I will say that it does keep going like a bit with your
Okay, I'm gonna
connection.
fix that right now.
I don't know if you can fix these things, but
Hopefully that. What was that movie? Oh, The Dream Team. Whenever you bring up that movie, I always think of The Dream Team with Michael Keaton. It's got a great cast actually. It's got Christopher Lloyd, Peter Boyle. Really good. It's almost a similar type of idea.
well, Christopher Lloyd's in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's, isn't he? Have you seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yes, I have, but it has been a while.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Phantom.
So yeah, to get back to what I was talking about and everything, I mean, it was just me going at a rate anyway, but I think, and it's not like I just like talking predominantly on these videos either. It's just,
No, no.
it's just that you can become quite quiet, and then so I just end up talking. You see.
I like kind of the back and forth we have. Like I'll listen to what you set up, and then I like to respond to it sometimes. No?
Well,
worked
yeah, of
for a
course.
while.
That's any good conversation should be
It's
like
worked
that.
for a
But I
while,
think,
yeah.
but I do think sometimes you could express yourself a little bit more. That's just my viewpoint. You see.
I hear you.
I think you're generally a relatively not a massively outspoken person, and
No.
I think you could be a bit more, and it could probably benefit you in some ways,
That's true. That's why I like
make you
being
feel,
friend.
probably make you feel better and stuff. But because I don't think everything I just said. It might sound like I'm getting kind of irritated about it or pissed off a bit, but it's not that. It's more just. It's like if we don't have kind of clear understanding of what's going off with people, then pretty much you can't rely on them, can you? You know, so
Yeah.
with Voltaire when he came on last week, I don't know how many times he kept mentioning that he was feeling he wanted to get pumped and stuff. It was like it just felt a bit strained and like he was trying to do some kind of performance of himself or something. I don't honestly like he'd lost that ability to be Voltaire anymore, and I think that's part of the thing that's going on, you know, with him. So I don't think he should be making himself feel like that, you know, trying to get on here and be this kind of loudmouth person, you know.
Yeah, I hear you. Because you know them a lot longer, yeah. So I hear
I mean, come on. I mean, it's like 5, 6, you know, however many years now. It's kind of, you know, it's like staying friends with the same people you knew at school, like every year up till the end, or, you know, and it just, everybody needs a mix up. That's why they mix people up into different classes and things. And I think it's true in life as well.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not healthy to just sort of constantly mix with the same people every day, day in, day out. But I don't know. Some people probably do, unfortunately. But
Yeah, it all depends on the scenario. You know?
but this, you know, it's not a job. It's supposed to be enjoyment. So
Yeah. That's why I come on, because it's fun dogging, yeah.
and at the end of the day, I mean, to be frank about it all, I just didn't quite buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The
for
Sunday
sure.
show. The excuses and the denials and stuff like this. It's like, come on, I just want someone to be honest. Like, if our chat got a bit fucked up, basically, just admit it.
It did, too. We've all basically admitted that. Yeah.
Who admitted it? Voltaire, you say?
No. Everyone but, I guess you could say. You kind of admitted that.
Well, the thing is, I don't understand really, because I don't fully know at the same time, because you know, I'm not there amongst people's private conversations, am I?
That's true, Phantom. Performance is a big part of the internet. To some people, if they're a character, you know, or if they play a character.
Yeah, but I don't really think it was with our channel, and I think like from the people we had on around the time of obviously Twin Peaks: The Return and everything, it had a sort of natural give and take and flow, and then after a while, it started to wear itself out through tension and things, which just arise naturally.
Yeah.
When people sort of feel this like they're compelled to come on every week, which of course they're not, but it did get to that point where we became attached to it, you know, and you know, and so at the end it was just becoming farcical with me saying something like, "Oh, I wouldn't mind, you know, I wouldn't want to see Jamie when she'd had too many Mountain Dews, you know, the energy drink version of it."
Yeah.
And she said, and she just told me to F off and all that, and then left the room. I mean, that was pretty. I mean, I was happy that she directed that towards me in many ways, because you know, I do take some responsibility for doing the videos, but I can't obviously control how everyone is on them. But she actually got to this point where, you know, through not being completely well as well, I mean, physical illness as well as the effect it has on you mentally and everything, like, she started feeling actually, you know, drowned out by this, you know, the thing that Voltaire started with about high tea and all that. She didn't like that. And yeah, and I totally understand, because I do think that if something is repeated ad nauseum, that is basically tantamount to sort of a form of bullying. It can be seen like that, even if not intended as that. You know what I mean? It's just, I mean, obviously, I don't particularly, you know, I didn't. I just thought it was getting like a bit. I don't know. It's just like it just becomes, you know, sort of just part of the language, and then I'd never really even understood it from the start, honestly, because it's just so alien to my.
Yeah.
No, I didn't understand. I mean, I understand the nature of saying high tea or what it means, but I mean, I don't understand it in context. Like, no one would say that like in any kind of normal situation.
It seems like such a 1980s American action film thing.
And I've said that kind of thing. You know, I've said things that Voltaire has said on here in real life. You know, I've said it to a bus driver. I said I needed to go home and make love on a woman, and he says, I just think you should sit down. Because the bus was like,
Did he tap
there
the
was a
side?
guy, it was taking
Someone talked to
ages
the
to
bus
be,
driver.
had some kind of problem up at the front, and I went up and just said that. And
Well,
in my sort of stupidity, I'm just glad that he didn't get angry with me or anything particularly.
it's here they have signs that say "Do not talk to the bus driver." They'll just point to it.
No, they do here as well, of course. But it wasn't in motion, you see.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, I would agree with you, Phantom Cooper. I'm not suggesting that Volta is usually putting on a kind of audience or anything, putting on anything for an audience. I mean, he's just.
Yeah.
I think after being not on for a while, he might have been a little bit. So,
I kind of get like that because sometimes you have to.
I'm not
I've had
pointing
him in
fingers.
for
I'm
a
not
while.
pointing fingers at anyone though. It's just it. But when it comes down to it, it's like if people aren't going to be completely open about certain things,
Yeah.
first off, the entertainment value isn't there, and with me, I don't see any particular. I mean, I think actually this is something like some flaw in my personality where people would say to me, "I'm not telling you anything, James, because you just say it to everyone," basically.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But
Yeah.
when I was younger, especially. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty. I like being very much out in the open about things, and like last Sunday as well.
You must have done
Walter-
it in this show with me. You're like, let's just get it all in the open, Sean. Let's just get honest. You said it, and then you kind of stopped yourself. You were about to say something. I was like, please don't. Come on now.
No, I think like last Sunday, I was there were some things that I was gonna say, and then
Yeah.
it was concerning Davorin, etc. And Voltaire just says, no, come on, just don't go there. Basically, as if I was going to say something really too much.
Yeah, I kind of felt
I
like you
don't-
might too.
But I don't agree with that. I don't really agree because
I think the rule of thumb is if the person's in the chat and they say it, and then you can repeat it. You can't really just lobby it. It's kind of like,
well, I don't agree with
You know what I
that
mean?
because it's like it's not like I'm doing a show that's got 500,000 people watching it, and when our show has been basically, and Cameron has been, we've been followed like intently by Davorin for, going back many years. I don't see any problem with mentioning things that he's told me. And one thing that he told me, and then I found it particularly, I didn't find this likable, to say the least. What I'll say is that he did, at one point he just says, well, yeah, I kept trying to find out what's going off with him, and he just said, yeah, like there was, hopefully I won't have to be doing something like this again or something. He said about my 3 attempted suicides, but each time I was found, because of my BPD, as in borderline personality disorder. And at first I was like, But for me, my approach to it is I completely believed everything he wrote because it seemed completely believable. And I have no idea why anyone would make that up. And then what cemented it was I brought it up with him like a week later and said, how are you feeling about, and you mentioned that, about the BPD and the attempts and all that. And he just said, oh, that was, I was, have you ever heard of, irony or sarcasm or whatever? And I was like,
okay, at least that was a good enough for you to follow up on that. I'm happy you followed up on that. So, asking him.
no, but obviously he's lying at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
He's not being, he wasn't being sarcastic because then he turned it into, has Cameron spoke of any recent suicide attempts?
Oh, come on, no. What the
And I was
fuck?
like, honestly,
How does that even true to him?
Honestly, don't. It's not even funny because, first of all, that cements my opinion that Davorin was talking from his heart about these things, and he is that because he is absolutely that. He's someone who goes out and creates drama and then sort of like denies he did it. Basically, that's part of the whole BPD thing. And but then to also say that about Cameron was to me just. I just thought, right, I've got to block him now because, because Cameron's been telling me to block him for ages, and Cameron was telling me about how malicious he is and stuff like this. So I just thought, really, is it worth it? Putting this much time into basically like harbouring people as if this is some kind of counselling group for people who've just, got all these grudges. Like, I don't understand why anyone would have a grudge with Cameron at this point. Like, Davern didn't put any money into his fan film, I think I put like $100 into it. At one point I got a refund, but then I gave it back. But, so, that was during me and Cameron's sort of,
Yeah, I've never understood all the
was going
hatred
on.
towards Cameron. Cameron from day one has been nothing but supportive for me and my channel. I just want to give a shout out to him. He's been nothing but a really good friend to me in the background. So I never understand why people come off the way they do towards him. And you too, James. You've been very supportive to me. I've even taken your advice that you've given me for music, believe it or not.
Well,
I remember last year you told me that I had too much going lyrically and stuff. I took that to heart, and now I tend to have less is more.
Yeah, but
in a good way. But in a good way.
Well, come on.
No. But
With the latest one, you have got dialogue going right through it. I mean,
yeah.
But I think we could do a video where you talk about how you create these videos because, I mean, what are you doing? Basically sampling stuff, or I don't understand how you make.
It's a process. It's a long process. I could go into it. I could actually. I've been wanting to film it actually.
But you are just using other people's music, right?
It depends what the song. If it's a remix, yeah. If it's just,
I'm not trying to come down on you with. I mean,
I try to clarify which one it is. Like
many creative people must do the same stuff, and it is creative. Like the Twin Peaks one, the latest one you did, it starts off with this really like beautiful intro and everything. That's something that you could use in a soundtrack. Mm-hmm. But then it just suddenly segues into going into kind of this, I don't know, like 90s dance music or something. And I'm just not even 90s. It's probably more like 2000. I don't know what it is exactly, and I just don't understand
the switch.
I couldn't understand how you went from one to the other when the starting of it was so, like I say, beautiful. And and I don't understand keep having repeated, keep saying, time and time again, or
it's a trance song. There's only so much I could do without actual microphones and me actually singing a song, like doing an actual. I would love.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting, but it's like.
You had a guest who had.
I'd have to do a video with you discussing these things, I think.
Yeah, for sure. But you once had a guest who had so much amazing recording equipment behind them. To me, that would be the dream to have that. The magic I can make with that stuff, man. I think he did Twin Peaks music too. I don't know what his name was, so I'm just. It was a guest you had not too long ago.
Oh, are you talking about Bob Antone or Dustin Carpenter from the band?
Yes, exactly. He had the suit on and stuff.
Yeah, Julian, I think that's a bit too far back, Millie. That I got up and did a video with Julian in the morning, and I had a night where I didn't sleep at all. It was during the whole pandemic business, and I knew something was going wrong with me, but I still managed to do the interview okay. So.
Oh, okay, that's good. Professional.
Kind of irrelevant to this, but I just thought I'd tell people these
That's
fascinating facts. But yeah, Julian is somebody that Millie knows. I don't know.
Incredible the setup. I'm like, oh, that's the dream, because then I could really just go all out.
I don't know. Maybe it was him. I don't know if you saw the video. That was probably about. I don't know whether that was about a year and a half or 2 years ago when I did.
This was more recent, James. Be honest.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, I think that's why I probably need to change this channel to being these remember videos, because I'm steadily getting into this sort of brain freeze Alzheimer's situation where I can't remember.
You've been doing it for so long, everything kind of just blends together. It's someone probably like Howard Stern. He's been on the radio for 40 years. It's probably the same thing, Every episode is just the same.
Well, it's getting a bit shameful because it's like, I would have to write everything down if I wanted to remember it properly, because you can't expect to remember all these people's creative endeavors sort of like just off
sometimes the fans in the chat can do it too.
Off the top of your head, I mean.
I think you do little videos that are montages and stuff. Josh used to do that, right? All your
you should watch that video that Millie's talking about with Julian.
Yeah, look at that.
So don't say sorry, Millie. It's fine.
No, for sure.
he's someone who's I think's got a band for sure,
Nice.
and he's a musician. So,
That's very cool.
but yeah, more recently, Bob Antone is the guy who talked more about sort of urban legends like Bigfoot, and that was actually that was people doing. They were projecting one of my walking videos where I'm in the town centre.
Ah,
And they projected it into the trees, like you said one time, and you made a combination of me and Bigfoot. That was highly offensive, but true. And some people in Snoqualmie, etc., thought it was the real Bigfoot. They just put some of my moaning noises on it as well, like or bad singing and that kind of stuff. They thought it was some kind of folk hero, Bigfoot legend.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. But I mean, we also had Dustin Carpenter, I think is his name. Anyway, I'm getting mixed up, and his band is Wisteria Lodge,
Okay.
and he would often say that we are the real season 4, or put that as a hashtag and things like that. I mean, what he's doing is he's definitely creating an effective mood, which would be suited to a continuation of Twin Peaks, I think. But but at the same time, I think if Twin Peaks were to continue, it wouldn't just be like exactly the same as The Return with like Sky Ferrara like doing that with her armpit, and I mean, no, they need to get someone like me doing this instead. Like this
You have
is
to do something, yeah. Something erratic.
this is a spray duster, but it's best.
Condensed air, yeah, those are great.
This is actually what I do to myself. I put it into the
you don't want to freeze
the
your
crotch
balls.
area.
No, don't.
Oh,
It's got liquid nitrogen.
oh, Millie. Milford.
How does that feel, Millie? He yells your name out.
No, actually, I do think my pubic hairs have just helped me. That if the pubes weren't there, because sometimes I have tried like trimming them and all that a bit, but I don't know.
There's something called Manscaped. I think it's called Manscaped.
Yeah,
It's
ballscaping.
It's the best.
great
It's the
thing.
safest. It's the safest thing. But it's the thing that's made for shaving down there. It's called Manscaped or something. It's
Yeah, but
actually-
I think like why have we been given pubic hair if the real
it's an
like if the
evolution.
real intent is
Before
for
we
us
had
to just
clothes.
shave it all off? I mean,
This is pre-clothes when we were outside.
are we all supposed to be big babies basically,
And basically, yeah,
walking around with nappies?
yeah.
That'd be ideal for me, really.
Yeah. He's honored.
Well, I knew you would be, Millie, because
It's hilarious.
it's just the way the mood was taking me. And yeah, to get back to the Dream Team, by the way, is that a decent film then?
It is, and it's 89, I believe, or 88. Very good cast.
Well, a very pivotal year or two for me that was.
I love anything 80s. I love the 80s, movie-wise, and if I could go back in time, I'd go to the 80s.
Yeah, I actually last night I just nearly forgot like what I watched last night, but I watched. It said it was the director's cut of Dressed to Kill with the Brian De Palma film. If you've never ever watched that one, I mean that is sort of start of the 80s really.
Awesome. Yeah.
Peculiar film in some ways, but it's Michael Caine, Nancy Allen.
Very cool. Nice.
But yeah, all I'll say is all of Brian De Palma's films are worth watching, but that one is about partly. Well, I won't go into any description about it, but it just shows the sort of 80s New York, and just the smallest details about it, like the way the cab sounded, the way the streets looked, and everything.
Yes.
It just doesn't have quite that same feeling now. You see. I mean, no doubt, that's inevitable, but I do think it had like a special thing around that kind of time. because it's like
yeah,
the New York of the 70s hadn't completely been all just cleaned up and
exactly. Yeah.
polished so much. I mean, I wouldn't particularly want to just be wandering around in the most dirty parts of, the New York, where Travis wanders around in Taxi Driver with all the blue movies showing and stuff. But,
Yeah.
at the same time, it's that griminess and everything. It does create a real feel of a place.
You have to read what Millie wrote in her chat. That's pretty funny. It's like, what?
That's a beautiful thing.
It's like poetry,
Sounds like sounds a bit like something from this show that I've started watching. I mean, it's been recommended to me by the Polish Hannah, but it's called Love and Death with Elizabeth Olsen.
Oh, really?
It's the same. It's good, but it is directed by Leslie Lincoln Glatter, or most of it seems to be, who directed, of course, a lot of Twin Peaks. But like, what the hell is going on now? This is like Muttley or something.
Voltaire's in the chat.
I always end up feeling like dastardly. Well, all right, give Voltaire a link then, okay?
Probably pumping. He's pumped it higher. I don't know what he's.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you would ask a guy about the pubic hair process, though, particularly trapped in plastic. But he did take it a bit further, I think, so it clearly shows he's interested in you by saying that. In a romantic sense, probably. He probably just wants to give you some flowers and then ejaculate on them.
You're trying to figure it out, yeah.
Thanks for that, Dan Peake. I'll relay that one to Josh so he can
Yeah, I'm curious now.
respond.
Too. So,
I don't know why people would talk about such things in a hardware store. It sounds off-putting and, if anything, a bit like going against health and safety laws. Like you start going down that road.
like a safety
so I watched the Equalizer, the first one again, and it's in that he's working in a hardware store, and I can't remember any scenes of anybody discussing, pubic hair or ejaculation.
yeah, I know. Like, how does that even come up?
Like there's a guy who he's helping to try and lose a little bit of weight because he wants to become a security guard there.
Okay.
At the end, there's all these scenes of him, and it's like slow motion. I've got one of those, nail guns basically, and I'm going to kill.
They're pretty dangerous. Yeah.
No, they definitely seem to be, according to these films. I saw this other film actually with Zoe Kravitz. I forgot the name of it, but it's she does that at the end. She straps it down though, so that I don't know. She sellotapes it down. Seems to have an insight into how these things work. Obviously, basically, she works doing a job where she's an agoraphobe. She never leaves this large apartment that I don't know how she pays for, and it's a bit like Siri. Basically, she listens to calls and or talking to Siri where it's being, I don't know, where it's not gone right or whatever, or it's incomprehensible, where Siri doesn't know what the hell you're talking about, basically. But sometimes this Siri recordings, and she picks up on one where it sounds like a woman screaming and stuff. So, and it's like, it's actually a well-made film. It's by Steven Soderbergh, but it's pretty lightweight, but it's good. It's just like, coincidentally, I've got this large piece of sound mixing, kind of, equipment in my stored in my some part of the apartment, basically. Just bring it out, plug it in.
Yeah.
Have you actually had any conversation with Voltaire yet?
No, I haven't spoken to him.
What else is new?
He's out on the streets of LA. No, I'm kidding. I heard there's
He's
a
a
riot
hot-
recently. He just got back from that. I'm
He's
kidding.
a hard man to reach.
He is. You got to check his beeper, and then you got to check his other beeper, and then you got to send him a fax, email.
He makes it very difficult to people to contact him. I think that's the difficult,
Well, some
Unless
people
it's-
like that. They like being hard to find.
No, I like having people on speed dial. That's why I actually,
I know.
I actually rang Voltaire one time and it was midnight for him.
I'm sure he enjoyed that.
He actually said, "Do not ever phone at this time."
Quote. Yeah. I wonder what he's thinking about the new Star Wars. Apparently, he likes the new Ahsoka, and I don't understand. I don't get it. Why, Voltaire? Why?
Well, are you getting any feedback on Facebook? Does it look like he's seen this?
Let's check it.
Because I'm sure he'll have heard us talking about it now, and I bet he immediately thinks, "Oh no, those complete wankers are talking about me. I'm going offline now. I'm too good for that."
Yeah, of course he thinks he's. No, I'm kidding. No, I don't know. I sent him a link, so we'll see.
Okay, well, what is your opinion on Taylor Swift? Just that I've changed the subject.
I think she's a very talented girl, but I'm not really necessarily a fan.
Girl?
A woman. Very talented.
I don't think she's a girl.
But one of my brothers was telling me she did a whole album where she was basically bad mouthing Jake Gyllenhaal or something. That was like the basics of the album. I was like, really? That sounds terrible.
Probably a bit of a simplification, I think.
I think, oh, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend, the Voltaire.
Hi and hello, everybody.
All right, I really think you're pumping it too hard now.
No, well, apparently that's all
I mean,
fake
it
news.
sounds almost gay, to be honest.
Well, come on, it's like, used to bring out wrestlers with that, the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah, but that is gay.
Oh, come on. Come on now.
Well, a lot of it, isn't it? It's very full on. Anyway, sorry if I've...
Always with the attacks with Walter there. Who were you trying to impress, James? Come on. Come on.
He's grumpy. It's midnight his time, and he starts a show late. He must be in a terrible mood.
No, I'm not. Just,
Yeah,
I'm
she
just
actually
telling you
seemed
that...
pretty good.
Just telling you that wrestling is gay.
Oh, come on. Classic 80s and 90s was okay. Come on.
And all I'm saying is you should just don't try and pump Voltaire too much because it's a bit gay.
Okay.
Right,
How are you
I mean,
doing, Voltaire? How was your week?
if you want to go private and get him on WhatsApp or something, yes, fine. But
What's that?
What? I can't even talk to the guy.
all right, Yahoo Messenger.
Yeah, Messenger. He's going way back.
Well, I've still got Voltaire on MSN. That's when I rang him at 12.
I met a couple of girls on Yahoo Messenger back in the old days.
That was a good place to go.
Well, things were sensible back then when it was like possible
Yeah.
to actually meet
Yeah.
people who weren't like every photo is them with like loads of lip plumping done or some shit.
And I met girls on Craigslist before it got crazy. You know, it's different.
Never did
Yeah, I took advantage of the internet when it first came out.
I must say your sound is better now.
It's always good. What are you talking about? What are you
Sounds
on
like
about?
you've- Sounds like
a
you.
profile picture you used.
Are you in a padded room now or something?
I am not. I just
Better.
maybe it's a positioning of my microphone. I'll
It
I don't
does
mean
sound
like
very professional,
an
yeah.
insane asylum. Just like one, where that you would be in a studio. It sounds a bit like that.
No, I'm not in a studio. I'm where I'm always at, in my office.
He's just trying to fish for information.
I was
I imagine-
working and I
Where's
was
it
listening in the background, and then Millie posted that very titillating comment, which I had to respond to. I can't.
Yeah,
help
it was
myself.
titillating. It actually got me a bit like semi.
Yeah. I'd like to know why Millie is asking these men these sorts of questions about their pubis.
That's what makes it interesting. I know.
Dissatisfaction
That's
with
my
her
first
husband, I think.
No, Millie's a very happily married woman, and she's a
Oh
good
my
lady.
God.
She'd never do anything like that.
God.
Yeah, but you can still be happily married but want more.
No, Millie is a very devoted
It's,
woman.
it's not like being in a TV show or something. Real life. I mean, with me, if I could be out there pumping non-stop, I would. It's just that I can't do that.
Sorry, just looked at
Because of my strange clothing choices and behavioural issues.
you. Seem to be loving mustard lately. Mustard color, you know. It suits you. It looks nice. Nice color.
It's an okay sort. It's an okay thing to wear, but some people it makes them think I'm too sophisticated.
Oh, I'm just waiting for you to wear a suit one day. I'm waiting for the Cooper suit.
Well, I'd sometimes wear a suit jacket over this t-shirt.
So what were you on about that? What don't you believe about what I said last week? What did you say you didn't find believable?
Well, I would say I believe about 97%. But
It's okay. I'm not
3%
offended.
is-
I'm curious what you didn't believe. I'm not offended.
No, honestly, I'm not offended either. I just want to say that, and I think basically there was something going on that I didn't know about in terms of people from the coffee time community, and it seems to have splintered. I've noticed since.
Listen. Josh told you a bunch of stuff, knowing that you would, and Josh knows how you are, that you can't keep a secret and that you don't keep secrets. You know what I mean? So Josh purposely told you these things, knowing that you would tell everybody. So what you know is everything, truthfully. Josh gave it all to you. He's given it to all. He's shown you everything. Between him and that cocksucker Ben, I'm sure you have all the information you need.
Yeah, no, Ben honestly didn't really talk about
Ben
it
is
much.
literally a cocksucker. That's factually correct. He's admitted it. He enjoys doing that.
No, I come. So what? Well, anyway, that's his.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but when I call him a cocksucker, it's factually correct. It's not.
That's his problem, okay?
It is a problem. But,
That's his delight.
One time he was drunk in the chat and he told Josh he wanted to suck his dick, and if he ever wanted him to, let him know.
All right, fair enough, but it's not really my territory. That isn't. I mean, if people want to be gay, that's fine.
There's nothing wrong with that. No.
I'm not going to stop them and say stop.
But I
being
thought it
gay,
was.
you know.
I thought it was sexually aggressive and harassment of Josh. He knew that Josh. Was,
No, Josh actually asked for it, in my opinion.
No, he did not.
Because he goes around wearing like tight black denim on his ass. It's basically asking for male attention.
That's incorrect. That's a terrible way to think.
It is.
Terrible way to think, yeah.
I mean, he basically, if it wasn't for him, Vin would never have gone to Morecambe. Just think about that.
That's probably factually correct as well.
And yes, he asked me to come at the same time. I don't mean ejaculate. I travelled there, and I just coincidentally met Vin at the train station. He was talking in that voice. I said, Vin, are you really going to keep talking in this voice the whole time? He says, well, yes, this is my voice. So I was like, oh, okay. And I thought this is going to go one of two ways. I'm going to be able to protect Josh, or Josh is going to end up, raped.
No, Vin wouldn't do that. He had a hard time. He had those two Irish fellas making fun of him.
No, but I did feel a lot of tension in it when there was some particular scenarios where we were going up to Lancaster Castle, and it was like getting more sort of a bit woodsy and no people around, and I was thinking, bloody hell, will I be able to defend Josh's honour? It's like, Vin was easily my size, and he was, I could see if he got like really like aroused, I might not be able to stop him. And then I'd end up standing there with like just filming it on my phone or something.
Jacking off.
All the humanity, the horror. He's zooming in. He's getting the right shot of the camera.
This is wrong.
This is so wrong. Zooms in on it.
And then take it to the police, and they release it on like YouTube.
First of all, they're like, James, this is immaculate editing, camera work. First of all, this is great. Second of all, this is terrible what you recorded.
Well, no, I did a zoom in and then slow motion of Vin ejaculating, where he's sort of going, "Oh my lord!"
It's horrific.
And then of the semen hitting Josh's ass because he pulled out.
Did he?
And afterwards, Josh just turned around and went, "It wasn't that bad, actually." It gives me inspiration for some more stuff with Trio.
I don't think
Just out of a song while
You've got to take the rough with the smooth. Anyway, let's just get back down to brass tacks.
God, how do you come back from that?
No, I don't. I think I'm always one who wants to talk about everything like fully,
I think so.
like exposed, because I think it gives the biggest entertainment value. Like if you hide it, I think the only really funny thing actually about Ashton, for instance, was the fact that she was just ringing Josh up in the day, and like you've only just reminded me of that. Really, I mean, it's just how does Coffee Time manage to get this kind of passion out of people that they're all just
Right.
started ringing. You know,
You called me at midnight on a Tuesday night.
that was an accident.
Tuesday.
It was not.
I can't remember why I did that, but that was just out of order, obviously.
I think Voltaire probably remembers.
I don't
was-
remember why.
I was probably an insane person at that point.
I mean, it's very. I wouldn't have minded chatting with you. Josh has called me a couple of times to chat. I mean, and if I'm available, I'll take the call. But
Well, that's nice.
not
He
at
ignores everything.
midnight
I
on a
said.
Tuesday.
Well, yeah, I don't really know what to say now. I don't think there's anything
okay.
else. I think I was just digging, basically.
Well, my point
think-
is, don't
Digging.
criticize Ashton when you've done the same type of thing yourself, haven't you?
I think I did an apology video which was pretty much aimed at Ashton, as in
Is that right?
giving her to try and sort of give her more of a chance and to say sorry to her for me being kind of somewhat
That's nice.
overzealous in terms of reacting to her fan fiction, when in reaction, really I should have just maybe offered lots of positives and then maybe said, maybe look at this bit or something,
Yeah. Like I said, you're the go-to person.
Be
If I was
reasonable.
writing something, I
Yeah.
would go to you for Twin
But I
Peaks.
was a little bit, I think the thing with Ashton is she just wound me up a bit because she was all over the place and I couldn't really make head nor tail
She's
of what was
very
going
high
on.
T, high T energy. Yes.
Like she was doing all these groups and things, and then she was writing and having sort of crushes on people like Josh and you, and then she just left me out of that equation. So I was like, oh,
He's jealous.
I feel like shit now, Well, no, I didn't feel really like shit, but I just felt a bit perplexed by the whole situation, I suppose.
Well, you felt left.
But I don't know. She just sort of said things that were a little bit perplexing for me, like this. She wrote to me when we were, mostly falling out a bit, that she wanted to go after men who were married and stuff like that, and I was like, what the? Why?
A lot of women do.
But she's just kidding around. I mean, she's only like 20. She's just, for her, it's just like doing some kind of fan fiction in online.
Is it? I mean, women,
Well-
young women have been banging their bosses for years. There's a reason for that.
I think
And their bosses are
but the thing is, she's not actually doing that though, is she? So it
It's
is
a
it is a form of
stereotype
fan
of-
fiction.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, women are attracted to that. Many women are attracted to that sort of thing.
It's an outlet for her, and I don't say there's anything wrong with that in the slightest.
I have a friend. He's an attorney. I mean, and he's got 3 children, and I don't endorse this. And he's got like a very nice wife, but he gets pumped at the gym on the regular, and young girls come on to him all the time, and he takes advantage. I mean, I think that's wrong, but it happens all the time. Is my point. He's currently banging like a 24-year-old girl, and the man's like 48. So.
He's got,
happens,
he's got
is my
children.
point. Yeah, he's got children. No, it's immoral. No question, it's immoral.
I don't know how someone could really square that. But you
Men
see,
have been doing it for centuries, cheating on their
People have.
wives. I agree with you.
People's minds are split, aren't they? Someone, and there might come
Yeah.
a day when they would just suddenly think, "Oh shit, that was all really bad." But
When
Nah.
the other girl gets pregnant and she calls the wife, yeah, that's when he thinks that.
Yeah, I wonder. That's what I ask him. Like, do you think she's ever?
That's the
gonna,
paranoia alone would drive me
And
nuts. Just the
he says,
paranoia.
nah. She gets what it is. So I mean, he says he has it under control. So
no, but come on, he's not that. He doesn't really have
What's the
strong
nerves
feelings
can do
for his
that?
wife, or otherwise he wouldn't do that.
oh no, he loves his wife. I've known the couple for a while, and they.
No, he just says he loves her because that's like his comfort blanket, isn't it? He wants his cake and to eat it.
He wants strange pussy. A lot of men do.
No, it's not. He wants partly the like you say they find him appealing, and probably his wife isn't that bothered about that anymore.
He wants to bang women in their 20s. Every man wants to bang women in their 20s, no matter what they say. Now he
I am
should.
not-
Yeah,
he
but
should have
that's
some
reducing
discretion.
it to a really like base level.
Yeah, it's that base. It's not that deep. He wants to have.
No,
sex with
I think it is. I think it is, though. I think it is.
He's not trying to marry this girl or fall in love with this girl, or the girls he slept with.
No, but that's pretty difficult to do when you're, doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, look. Here's the thing. Every man wants to do it, but they should have the respect for their wives and their family to not do it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying every man should do it. Once you're married and you have children, I've told him, I go, look, you have little kids, man. What if she finds out and it blows up your marriage? And he's like, nah, don't worry. So that's it. Yeah, what's yikes about that, Phantom Cooper? That men want women in their 20s? Like, that's crazy talk? Like, that's the number one demographic? Young women aged 20 to 27 is the number one.
No, but what does this guy do?
I love that you stopped at 27, not 29.
What is his job?
He's in a trailer.
Precisely.
I mean, and he's really in good shape. He's pumped. And girls do come on to him. So...
Well, you know that people have a bad opinion of lawyers, don't they?
Men have been cheating on their wives with girls in their 20s across industries. And, I mean, guys in trailer parks do it. I mean, look, what's the old joke? What do Donald Trump, Stephen Hawking, and Martin Luther King all have in common? They all cheated on their wives. Okay?
Well, unfortunately, Donald Trump isn't dead yet.
Well, I mean, it doesn't change the thing, you know what I mean?
Arguably.
I'm not saying it's good, and I personally, if I ever did get married, I would never cheat on my wife. I know I wouldn't. That's part of the reason I'm not married, though, is because
I missed that joke. What was the answer? I'm sorry.
So what do Donald Trump, Stephen Hawking, and Martin Luther King all have in common?
No, they're all in wheelchairs.
Well, he told you the punchline.
No,
I can't remember.
They're all in wheelchairs. We just told you.
See, the point of the statement is that these are three wildly different men.
Yeah.
Okay, but tell me it.
Stephen
Tell me the
Hawking,
answer.
Donald Trump, and Martin Luther King have all cheated on their wives.
Stephen Hawking cheated on his wife. Yeah, but that's when he could still walk about.
No, absolutely not. That should tell you the mind of a man.
So who did he cheat on his wife with then?
I don't know. Some space groupie, some science groupie. I don't know.
And what was happening? She was like giving him a hand job or something.
Yeah, and he just typed, yes, touch me.
No way.
There.
This is beyond parody now.
Thank you for the hand job.
Put your finger in my asshole, please.
Well, I don't believe in that anyway. It sounds bullshit to me.
But if you want to know the mentality of men, is look at that. These three wildly different men, and they all have that in them. And again, that's not a. Yeah,
but the reality is most men don't get that kind of chance in the scheme of things. In my opinion,
You said it. They don't get that kind of chance
because they're not mixing. Most guys who are 48 are not mixing with 24-year-old women.
Unless it's their secretary, or you're right. It's hard to meet those women, or you're out looking for it. You know what I mean? So, but that's challenging. But
I mean, say you're a minor. I mean, not going down a pit or something. You're not mixing with 24-year-old women, are you?
No, not normally.
I mean, that is a real job.
And Phantom Cooper, I think that somewhere out of Sweden, a study was done, and the most appealing age for a woman based on whatever that meant, I think it was 23 or something 24. Like that.
Yeah,
I think it was 23 actually. But whatever. People like to deny these facts, but
anyway, 23 or 24 is not that young.
No.
I mean, if you're talking about guys who's 48 and he wants to sleep with a 14-year-old girl, that's real.
No, that's sick.
That's real strange pussy.
Oh my God, that's going to jail.
No, but come on, look at the Rolling Stones. I bet they all did it.
Oh, speaking of which, did you guys hear that the actor who was in the 70s show who played Hyde just got sentenced to 30 years in prison?
Another Bill Cosby type of scenario. Like he could have had sex with these women, but he wanted them drugged and passed out. Like it's all
I don't know any of the. See, I don't know any of the detail. I just heard the verdict. I was like, oh shit.
Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis.
Yeah. Sorry, James.
They made sort of saying he's a great guy. He doesn't rape
character,
people whilst they're under the influence of drugs.
It was like a character
In the
assessment.
ass. He's a great guy.
I was just working with a client on a case where this doctor,
30
and he was a handsome doctor in like his late 30s. He was quite good looking, married with a small child. He was a psychiatrist, though.
So he looked similar. Did he look similar to me, Walter?
Yeah, he's very handsome.
No, I'm asking a specific question.
Yes, he was very much
What's
like you.
more detailed?
So, like, you mean like ripped?
Ripped, but he had a beard, unlike you. So, so he was a psychiatrist, and
James
what
note
he
to
did
self,
was what he would do. He had a couple of patients who were bipolar,
What?
and yeah, he had a couple. He worked with girls. He worked with his specialty was bipolar disorder.
You're trying to trigger me now.
I am not. This is a true story. This is a real case. I can send you some of the logs to it.
True,
Anyway,
trigger
so he would he took one girl, and he told her one young man he was working with. He would go to his house to treat him, and then he started banging his younger sister consensually, but still was doing it, which is whatever. That was the first thing he did. So that's a lack of discretion, but it's not illegal, right? Then one of his patients was a female. She was bipolar. And then he said, hey, you know what? As the treatment goes, I think it'd be good for you to get a job. Why don't you come work at my office? So she started working at his office, and he would treat her at his office. This is already a conflict of interest. You know what I mean? So eventually it got sexual with him and her. And then he did that to 2-3 other patients. And finally he tried to do it to one that told her mother, and he got in trouble. All these girls were of age, but he was just sick in the head. The guy had a very beautiful wife, and he was a decent-looking doctor, but he wanted his patients. He wanted these women he had control over. One of them, he did get drugged up. Like he would invite him into. While they were working there, he'd bring him into his office and say, "Hey, let's have some wine."
It's so crazy. It's like a graphic novel, or like a very like a predictable story. Like this guy goes to college, as you call it, university, and they train in psychology, etc.
Psychiatry. He had a medical
psychiatry. So that's serious qualification. Go all the way along, and then it's not like that point when they're like in their early 20s or whatever. They're thinking, yeah, I'm going to get into this job and I'm going to treat patients. Then I'll probably have sex with them. It just obviously it's like, it's not planned, or like when they're a teenager or something. It just gradually works its way to that. But it's
and guess what? Him and his wife were very active in the church group in their town. You know what I mean? It's just everything stereotypical.
That makes me think of Love and Death with Elizabeth Olsen. The similar when people are very heavily involved in like quite a strict church and things, they have to have an outlet. Things can bottle up and all that. It's just
I don't know how strict it is. It's just I think those sorts of people use that as a cover, like, hey, so they can sort of hide in plain sight. Like nobody would ever suspect me of what I do, these awful things I do, because I'm a church-going man. I'm a good Christian man. It's all fake for them.
Yeah, but then when you see photos of them and stuff, you just think, yeah, I could see it.
Not me. Not with this guy. I know what you're talking about, but that's why this guy was so interesting. But
but the thing is, what he's doing is in itself, in his mind, he's probably not, the reality of it is, he's not just thinking all the time, oh yeah, check the ass, like me, just
that's
check that ass.
Yeah, it's not sexual. You're 100% right.
Well, it is partly, but there's definitely an affection side to it, because he gets close to them in that patient doctor's type of situation, and he sort of, that is like, that kind of relationship can be almost closer than many people feel in just normal relationships, surely.
Yeah. And he knows that,
especially if they've not had them for, and he's. But yeah, his home life might be quite repressed and stuff. So.
Who knows? But
who knows?
The Bill Cosby stories, he was inviting these actresses. Hey, come by my place and we'll have a drink and talk about your career. Now, and all these actresses who went over to his place to have a drink knew that he wanted to bang them, and they were down with that. They just weren't down with him knocking them out and doing it while they were asleep. Like, that's how sick Bill Cosby is. It wasn't good enough for him to have sex with these women. He wanted them passed out.
You know what's wild too? There was an episode of the Cosby Show where this was kind of foreshadowed, where he started putting stuff in everybody's drinks or their food, and they were all starting to. It was in the show too. It was like, what the fuck?
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You know, so that's all power. I mean, there's no other reason. Like, that's not sex anymore.
Oh, God.
Having sex with a sleeping woman is obviously, that's not sexual. That's all power and something sick in the head, I think.
Yeah, power trip. Yeah, that goes back to something psychologically, probably when in your youth or your childhood. You know. Yeah.
Like, I never buy it when they say rape is not a sexual crime. It's a crime of control. No, it's a sexual crime.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's not like there's not that many crimes where you blow a load after you're finished completing a crime. Like, if somebody steals my laptop at when I'm at the airport, that guy's not running off with my laptop and coming at the same time. You know, it's not this.
Oh my God,
that's not a sexual crime.
No.
Do you want to just talk about something a bit more less unsettling before we? I don't want to go on too long now, obviously, because it is a bit late here.
Yeah, no, I can't stay much longer, actually.
Mandela Man was just trying to ring me, and I just want to say, can we do a video this week or something, please? Probably about UFOs. That's not a joke. So it's a bit late, though, to come on now, Mandela Man. Okay.
Did you watch the last Ahsoka episode, Voltaire?
I did. Yeah.
And how did you feel about it? Did
I
you
liked it.
Yeah. You still like it? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see a problem. I mean, look, the acting is not great. The writing is not super duper, but it doesn't have to be for Star Wars. I think that's the whole point.
See, I think you've kind of, at some point, all of us as Star Wars fans kind of lowered the bar at some point. And we're all just like, you know, it passes it's acceptable.
It's the best Disney Star Wars. It's the best Star Wars we've had since Revenge of the Sith, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have to get back to you on that. I'm like, I'll wait till it plays out the whole season, and then
What else is better from Disney?
Oh, I got to see how they land this show, right? How they stick the landing, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I get it. If you don't like it, that's fine. I mean, I just think that some people are so disappointed with what they've done over there, the studio, that they can't. They're just waiting for something bad to happen with what they're putting out. Like, prior to this, Obi-Wan was the only decent thing, and that was barely decent. That only had a few decent scenes in it, quite honestly. But this is actually pretty good, you know.
Yeah, no, it's the other day. She didn't. Like, she's a dual wield, like in little things like the dual wielding of the lightsaber. She didn't have that. Like, she doesn't have that, right? Unless I'm mistaken.
No, she has it. She just didn't use it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, look, that was. I don't know. I haven't heard any interviews, but that stylistically. Did you watch it? You watched the episode, right?
Yeah.
I think stylistically, I think he just wanted to do like it was very much like an old school samurai movie fight, don't you think?
Very much so. Yeah. Very.
I think maybe that was the aesthetic he was going for, or the mood. Yeah. Like, I like things like, but here's why: I'm also a simp for certain things of Star Wars. Like, I like the master and apprentice relationship, even though I don't care for the master and apprentice in this case that much. But I like that Ahsoka, who's a powerful Jedi, handled that whatever his name was, that ghost character, like it was nothing. Yeah, I liked that when she went up against Balin, who was clearly outclassed her, that the fight was completely different for her. You know, I like those kinds of things. You know, so we'll see. I mean, this next episode, Disney is giving it a partial release in theaters for one episode, which is weird. But that leads me to think that's either a hype, partial theatrical release for this Tuesday's episode. So that's either a real confidence in the quality of the project, or
what does that mean exactly? Like, if it's a part, like I've never heard of that. Like, what does that mean?
I don't know. Apparently, you could have emailed a certain thing and tried to get on a list. Yet they're showing it. It's not getting a wide theatrical release, but it's getting a partial theatrical.
Okay,
release.
I see what you're saying. Okay,
I imagine there's one in Toronto. I'm sure that a booming town like Derby probably has a cinema showing it.
Oh, for sure.
No, I'm being sarcastic. I don't think so.
I don't know why you have to say it's booming though. That's
a boom town like Derby.
It's just a typical UK town.
Yeah. Yeah, and Andor was good, but it wasn't the Jedi action Phantom Cooper, which I think is the.
No need to start laying it right on it.
Right on it.
So I don't know, but yeah, watch it. I mean, it's okay. I get it. Some people don't like it. I get it. Those guys on Echo Base Network, they hate it. You know.
Wow. No.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people who agree with you.
I just want to see how they finish this season, how it sticks its landing, you know, because then maybe I can see an arc, an overarching arc, you know.
Maybe.
Voltaire, can I just ask you, because I watched it, I've seen it before, but I watched this Brian De Palma film last night called Dressed to Kill. Have you ever seen it? It's got Michael Caine in it and Nancy Allen. It's got quite a lot of nudity in it, but it also involves transgenderism. So So I think that could sort of resonate with you somewhat, because I've often wondered whether you should get into transgenderism.
Yeah. I don't like chicks with dicks. I'm not into it.
It's just such a bizarre film, and like at the end, and there's this scene where they're sitting in a restaurant and they just start talking about vaginoplasty.
Really?
What? How? This is a movie. If it's De Palma, is it like from the 80s?
Start of the 80s, yeah. Very.
I've never heard of this. And
It's weirdly slow paced, but yeah, it's got this kind of, yeah. I don't want to spoil it all, but I mean, they're talking about. It's just. There's this scene, and it's sort of just this kind of humour of it. He always shoots in very widescreen usually, and when she starts talking, Nancy Allen, the character, she's talking about to this boy or young man that she's with. You'd recognise him from, say, Jaws 2. I know you're a massive fan of that film.
Yeah, Jaws 2 and Jaws 3D.
No, but. Yeah, she talks about cutting the penis down the middle.
Oh my god!
Oh, that is what they do, is my understanding.
And this woman, it's like
they flay it basically.
They've got like the camera angle is sort of just including this older lady who's sitting on the table opposite them, and she can overhear everything, and she's just doing these kind of faces like, and she's drinking this like green cocktail or something. It's such a bizarre film. It's hard to understand whether this is supposed to be taken seriously or not at times. I suppose it's camp, perhaps, but it's very well made. I like De Palma, but it's not his best film by any means. But Blow Up is a really good one. Sorry, Blowout.
Blowout, yeah.
With John Travolta. That's it. And I mean, John Travolta actually raises it up a lot because he just adds a lot more to it. You know, in the character. Mm-hmm. That's also Nancy Allen is in that one, I think. But maybe I'm getting confused actually, because Nancy Allen wasn't she his girlfriend in?
Gary wants to know what version.
Gary said there's an X-rated and an R-rated version, so there you go. That's vile. It's
probably the X-rated because it was like, I don't know if I've seen it before, but I would only say that there's only about a minute extra or something, and it's the stuff at the start where it's in the shower?
That's from.
And it's got all this sort of like just close-up shots of breasts, and then also a shot of the muff.
Yes.
Nice.
Which I can't remember seeing before ever. But
you're just like
probably the first time I saw the film, it was on like. Yeah, really. I mean, when I saw it last night, I was like, "What is that?"
You ever see an episode of South Park?
Johnny's gone into another Motley impression now. It's
sorry.
You ever see that episode of South Park where the character Butters found a porno and he saw a woman's bush? He's like, I've never seen that part of a lady's body. What is that? What is that? What is that hair there? He started getting obsessed with bushes, like actual bushes.
Yeah, I think it's on Amazon. It's on Amazon Prime, Gary. Yeah. It is the version It's only the shower stuff. It's like, and all it does is really, it just adds to the film in terms of. Yeah, but it's not like explicit or anything by any.
Well, it's not X-rated if it's on Amazon Prime.
No, I mean this film would probably get a 15 certificate these days.
Well, he's alleging there's an X-rated version.
Well, it was X-rated back in the day. But that's like in 1980 or whenever.
But he's asking which version did you watch, X and or R-rated?
Well, I think it was the X-rated version because it's classed as the director's cut.
Ooh.
Interesting.
As in the director wanted them off in there.
Yeah, exactly. More.
You know what? Frontal nudity of the vagine would probably be
1970s.
enough to make it expect. Well, no, I don't think so. I mean, there's 70s movies with.
Yeah, me and
Shit,
James
wasn't-
watched not too long ago where they had just you could have cut out all those parts, but it was just they're in because it's a 70s movie.
Well, I don't know. The thing is, was there an X-rated? Was there an X rating in America? Because I thought that was an English rating.
That's only when you reach like porn status. Like they're not even.
I thought in
filming.
America they only had R and then NC-17. So he's probably talking. I think Gary's talking about the British version, and I can imagine it getting an X-rated version.
I've
in
heard
this
of like
country.
triple X movies, but I don't know if that's an official
But
rating.
the
or-
British, but the British classification was so strict back then. Even like in Fire Walk with Me, that came out. That got an 18 certificate.
Wow.
Now it's been re-rated on on Blu-ray and everything to 15.
Think
So-
about that. Wow.
Which I mean, considering some of the stuff in it, but I wouldn't say it's. I would say it's a 18 certificate film, but
Hey, you guys show boobies on TV, don't you?
I mean, shows.
Yeah. Aren't there
What do you
shows with
mean?
boobies? Are breasts shown on regular TV in the UK?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I mean,
Well, that's you
Stand-
say of
the-
course, but that's not like that in Canada. and
Yeah,
America.
exactly. I know. If
well, that
only.
depends what you mean. Not at sort of 7 p.m., but
Around 8.
Well, even after 10 o'clock, we don't see shows with breasts in them, unless you go to cable, paid services.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
10 p.m., they apparently cable shows can, they can say the F word, but I'm not even
well,
sure.
I wouldn't say shows here generally have like excessive, muff or anything. It's,
So like Downton Abbey's not full of muff shots.
no, not
Full on.
men walking around with semis like Carl Cloughlin did in Blue Velvet. That's not on general TV.
Yeah.
Which I think is a shame, because I mean I would encourage it if I was in charge of these TV shows. I would definitely get more cock in them.
The number
Well,
one
Game of
prize.
Thrones tried to do that when a bunch of women's groups or some kind of people complained that there was just all female nudity, and it was so they started I think around season 3 or 4, probably 4. They started just
They
putting.
probably
cock-
had some. They had probably had some male nudity before, but more butt stuff.
Yeah, but they started putting cock and a lot of cock in a man ass.
Yeah, but not
no
a
reason
erect
to.
cock.
No,
Well,
never
some-
erect cock. Always flaccid. Yeah.
That's a letdown, then, isn't it?
I guess so.
If it's not like a tight close-up and shot of an erect penis ejaculating all over Amelia Clark's face, I mean, what is that's bullshit.
I agree.
There's a
With her
scene
di-
of
with her-
That's the best quote of the night.
Jason Momoa giving it to her from behind.
Yeah, yeah.
Many would have described that as some of her best performance.
I think so.
It's what made her famous.
Gary North says lots of gay stuff in Downton Abbey, so you should watch it.
I've seen every episode. I'm only kidding. There's no nudity.
I've seen every episode.
I have seen every episode of
No,
Downton.
but there's a
Really?
rape scene, isn't there?
Is there a rape scene?
Well, I didn't watch it, but I heard about it. It was quite a sort of bit of a fuss at the time.
Yeah.
But it would be, because most of Downton Abbey is not like really hard hitting, is it? Then
I mean, it takes place in 1918 or something like that.
but then it
and-
has.
There's a scene where a lady is getting into the interracial stuff, and I just don't know how much that happened in 1918 England. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's probably supposed to be portrayed as something unusual for the time. So
Taboo.
Yeah, it was. Of course, a jazz band came to London.
Yeah, of course.
no, but that is easily something that could have happened.
A lady?
What? No,
One
I
of
mean a
these-
jazz band coming to London.
Well, that part, yes, that
Well,
part is true enough. But a
Well,
lady,
many jazz bands in Derby even. That's
yeah, I'm sure there are, but
some of them involved. Some later helped set up Derby security services.
well, good for them.
Yeah, I know actually some of the people who were initially involved in jazz bands in Derby, they became involved in the Model Train Museum.
Oh yes, Gary, there's a gay character. One of the valets is gay in Downton Abbey.
Yeah, but I bet it's done in a really like obvious way, you know, acting.
No,
on
he's
camera
not.
and
He's
stuff.
not like, oh, what's kicking off here, sir? Can I help you with your pants? It's nothing like that, you know. It's
Why
not,
is it so hilarious? Like you're laughing. Oh, there's a ballet.
I was laughing at Voltaire laughing, just to clarify.
What's
'Cause I
not of
thought
a
it was
gay
funny.
valet at one of these high houses? You know what I mean? These old English houses, like, you know.
But that's possible because
Bradley,
when
come in here and fix my trousers, please. Oh, yes, sir, right away.
no, but the valet
Yes,
industry was
Lord.
known for having a lot of gay people in it.
Is that right? The valet industry?
Yeah, I've
Is that
spoken to a
right?
few valets in
That's what it
Derby,
means.
and they're like, they remind me a bit of that impression you used to do of somebody.
Oh, I'm a
Yeah.
professional valet. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, if you still want to buy the Fist of Love, the Lost Highway book, it's now your last chance to get it with colour inserts. So
Well, did you
Yeah.
order it? I mean,
think
you
you
ordered
did.
his Twin Peaks book. I know you're
I
very
might
devoted
do,
to
but I
him.
mean, when the poster packaging is about the same as the actual book, it's a bit much.
Well, the man has a lot of knowledge. I mean, if he's writing about something you're actually interested in, he knows his stuff. I mean, that's not disputable. So I mean, like, how's it? Did you ever
Well, yeah,
end
I'm
up?
sure there'll be something in it that'll be of interest, but I don't think it's going to be like, yeah, it's. I think Scott. I don't want to say anything bad about it really with Scott Ryan. You know, it's
Listen, I know my shit,
else?
and
Who
I
else
write a
is
book.
doing
Now
this?
you better believe it. You know, whether I'm writing about fucking moonlighting, China Beach, or Twin Peaks, nobody does it better than me.
He didn't do a book on China Beach. That was Brad Dukes, for
Oh,
God's
sorry,
sake.
my mistake. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Moonlighting,
yeah.
David Letterman
Uh,
show.
Stop it now, please. It's just he did a book on Bob Streisand. There's nothing straighter than that.
Didn't someone accuse him of being gay for writing that? What did they?
Yeah, in some post or something, and he was like going, "Oh, I'm laughing so much at this."
No.
What laughing in a gay manner? No, but no, but anyway, it doesn't matter regardless of all
No,
that.
that's his
It-
business, right?
It's a big, wonderful world out there. People can do what they want as long as they're not hurting anyone in the anal.
They are.
But
As long as you're
They-
lubing up and getting consent, it's okay.
yeah, did you not see though that he was doing a singing performance in the double R when they put like the double R sign and it's just the neon.
They just repaired it, right? The
Yeah, he
fan-
was
They had
saying,
it- they had
"Hello,
him-
Frisco.
No,
How
he was
are
doing.
you?"
He was singing. It's a real indication.
What's that?
A real indication. The song from the
Oh,
Fire
was he?
Warning
Okay, good
soundtrack.
for him. Yeah, I like
I've
that
got a
song.
real indication
The Bobby
of a
singing
laugh
Boy Walk
coming
Bicycle.
on. God Almighty, the things Scott Ryan gets away with.
That's not a bad thing to go up and sing because it doesn't really take much singing skill. It's more of a spoken word to the music.
Well, yeah, I think that was probably the idea. Come
Like
on.
William Shatner, all those albums William Shatner puts out.
yeah. Why is that?
Actually, he put one out with his most recent one. It's recent, but I say recent, but it's like 8 years old at this point, 9 years old. He put it out, but it was done by Ben Folds 5, and that guy's a super talented musician, obviously.
Yeah.
Ben Folds.
Did he do a
So-
song called "Go in the Distance," or is that a different band?
No, that's a different band. Ben Folds did the abortion song. Dun, 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 dun. It's 3 a.m. in the morning. Na, 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 na. I'm not getting the tune right. What's that song called?
Close enough.
Gary,
Remember the one
just
I'm
so you
talking
know,
about?
Gary's
Yeah.
referring to the movies. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they really delve into the gay aspect of that valet.
Okay.
I'm a gay valet, and I've had to hide it because it's 1918. It's post First World War England. It's not really acceptable. And me lord would
Well-
like it very much, you don't think?
Go on.
Will you be watching A Haunting in Venice at the cinema? Anybody? No, clearly not.
I'm not even-
I'm not against it,
I
Gary.
haven't
I
heard.
would go and see it. Actually, it looks quite well made. I do think that film.
Really? I mean,
Some trailers for it have almost shown it as being a horror film or a spooky film, whatever, a ghost film, and then Hercule just pops up at the end in the trailer, and then another trailer is far more, based around his character. So I think it's.
Well, I see.
I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he will totally dominate the film. So. I did actually watch again. Talking of Kenneth Branagh, though, Tenet, and my opinion on it has improved since last time. Actually,
Is that right?
I think it's decent. Yeah, just in response to certain derogatory comments made about Christopher Nolan by certain people.
Listen, I think he's highly overrated, and Voltaire's brought up many times that if it wasn't for that Joker or Heath Ledger, come on.
The Prestige is very good too.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I know I'm being hyperbolic. No, he's a very good director. Some of his newer movies, like when he ends on like,
They haven't been hitting me very well.
yeah, that's all.
Sorry, I completely misunderstood what you were. I thought you meant the Joker film. Actually, yeah, sorry.
No, yeah, sorry. But no, he's very. It's very frustrating because he's so good. It's just some of it. Yeah, like I don't walk out of some of his past movies feeling like, wow, I want to go see it again. It's weird.
Well, I mean, Tenet was just hard to get through. I think for me anyway. I still haven't watched the whole movie, because I couldn't take it.
Wow.
But maybe I'll give it another chance, like James.
At least to finish it, yeah. At least you can complete it.
Well, I've seen it in the cinema, and I've seen it a couple of times at home. I think. So,
That would have been a great
Yeah.
experience, right? In the theater. In the theater would have been great. Just
I mean, it's not. I don't think it's like his best film or anything like that. I think I have
Do you have a
different
favorite?
opinions. I think.
Or one you would say is his.
I don't know. I think The Prestige is one of his one of his best ones.
I
but
do like the
Easily.
Prestige. I do like that. Yeah, I'm glad you. I forgot he did that. Well,
I don't know really. I think he has these films a bit like Tenet and then say Inception, where it's almost the whole thing is based around this sort of idea that you don't really understand what the hell's going off in the first place. And so
yes.
in Tenet, I didn't understand
Like a
at many
concept.
points exactly what was happening, the
Yeah.
twists and turns.
I mean,
But
Inception.
I'm
is
not really
far
sure
more
how many
understandable.
people would. Yeah, I would imagine Inception is more understandable,
It's
but
more digestible, if you will.
Yeah.
And even a movie like Memento is understandable and digestible.
I don't think Tenet even makes sense completely, honestly. Like, it just is so. It goes into so many twists and turns and convoluted aspects, like breathing in. You have to breathe in the gas or the air, because
Yes. Yeah.
what is it, CO2 or whatever, and because otherwise you'd be breathing in backwards air and it doesn't work, and it's just things like that. It's just. It's like it just feels like they're making it up as they went along almost. It's just got this sort of. There's no real substance behind it all. It's all just a game, But I still enjoyed it as much,
You bring up a good point, almost
As
like
you
an
can, something
extended
like that.
cutscene you'd watch in a game where you're like, whoa, this is fucking awesome. And then press start to play. It's like, all right, now the story.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I kind of get that. That's a cool analogy.
I think Tenet is saved by its set pieces are pretty
Yeah,
impressive in many parts, but even little things, with he is actually Denzel Washington's son.
Yes, but he's only called the
But-
protagonist, right? In the movie, protagonist or something. He doesn't have.
Yeah,
a
and
name.
the fight in the kitchen, which is we've seen a million times before in other films, but just the way he grabs the grater and then starts
Is it a nude fight?
swinging at them. It's not nude, no. I mean that would have been a nude fight with somebody holding a grater,
Wow, oh my goodness, that would take it up.
They're
taking
Right.
chunks out of their balls or something.
Wow.
Well, if you did have a grater and you were swinging at someone, that would be quite effective. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So,
Really intimidating.
depending on what they were wearing, really.
True.
But at the same time, he just seems to be able to defeat anybody in that scene with just the absolute minimum, struggle. So there is that aspect where you have these films where the central protagonist will never be in any real serious danger. So
Yeah.
That's called plot armor, James.
yeah, but it really removes any sense of tension from the film.
You're absolutely right.
You know,
absolutely
and-
right.
That's kind of how
Yeah.
with the Equalizer films, you kind of just accept it, but.
Yeah, it's kind of like buy the ticket, take the ride.
What,
You know what you're
Queen
expecting.
Latifah, she's not getting killed in the Equalizer?
Well, she's an impenetrable fortress. She just sort of like does flying kicks at everybody's heads, you know,
Yeah.
about
Very intimidating.
2 inches from the floor.
She'll give you a real sassing too if you,
2 inches from
if you
the floor.
cross her, which is a
Just runs at them from about 20 meters away, and then just knocks everybody over like.
And she
over like
says,
Skittles.
no, you didn't. Oh, hell no.
You're talking to a big bad bitch here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how they can make that at the same time. Like then, but I, being such a dick, went to see Equalizer 3. So,
Oh, no,
So
I've
there's-
heard
there's-
really good things about it.
well, it's not as good as the first film. The second one I was never quite into. So, but it's all right. It's okay.
Okay.
Not great.
That's a shame.
All right, then we'll better sign off for tonight.
Yeah.
Then, all right.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks for coming on, both of you, and Mandela Man, if you're watching, I'll hopefully speak to you soon. Okay. Oh no, I've not seen Shot Caller. Sorry about that, Gary. Sounds interesting though.
Is
Yeah,
that the one with the guy from Game of Thrones?
Nikolai Coster-Waldau.
Yeah, that's right. That's the guy from Game of Thrones. Jamie
Oh.
Lannister.
yeah.
No, but I'll look it up, Gary.
Yeah,
So
me too,
Thanks
yeah.
for the information.
Did you see that that I Hate the Bloody Queen? Have you ever seen that before, James, or is that new to you?
Well, no, I've never seen it before. I could see that it's actually Canadian from.
It is Canadian. Well, SCTV was Canadian, but it was played in America.
Yeah.
But it
A
is
lot of
indeed
great actors.
Canadian. Yeah, John Candy's in that. Eugene Levy. Did you notice that that's John Candy on drums in that video?
Oh no, I'll have to look again.
That's awesome.
Did you actually watch it through the lyrics? They're just hilarious.
Not the whole thing. No, it says he
Oh, you really got to watch it.
punch the Queen in the face.
Oh, he
Bit
said he's gonna
offensive, that is.
throw her off a boat in the Sea of Argentine. You know, it's very
my
much
God.
A period.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a good piss take of the Sex Pistols, who were, in some ways, overrated. You know.
that's what's his name, Martin. What's his name?
Short.
Yeah, Martin Short's the lead singer in that.
That's awesome. Nice.
I thought this might be a little risque for the English people.
Well, I did ask you to delete it, which you've not done.
Yeah, I know.
He told him to delete it.
He did. That's his typical.
Yeah, in respect. He's talking about wanting to punch a dead queen in the face.
Well, I mean, it's not like I posted this after the news of her death. I mean,
No, it's like you're saying I want to dig her up and then punch a dead corpse in the face. That's sick.
He said that.
No, that's the message you're sending out there.
That's what he took from it.
I mean, anyone would interpret it in that way, surely.
Not really. It's just a funny skit.
If not, dig the corpse up and then penetrate it.
Oh my god.
Jeez. No, that was portrayed in the film Necromantic, so you should watch it.
Will not. Is that Lars von Trier or some shit?
No, Jorg Butterguy.
Okay,
He
that
was
sounds
a-
like terrible name.
He was a very mental person in a way, but yeah. It ends with the central character, he stabs himself in the stomach and then ejaculates out of this false penis.
Oh, come on.
It's really
Whoa.
disgusting.
What are you watching, Jim?
I know, thank
Does
you.
that do anything like watching films like that in the Serbian film? Does
No,
this
I never
do
watched
anything
it. I never ever watched the whole thing, really.
How do you walk away from that? Just
I got it sent it to me on a videotape in the
sun is
past
shining.
when it was these band films.
VHS?
So, yeah.
Oh,
Whoa.
did
that's
you watch?
even
Have you
more.
seen a Serbian film?
Well, I've watched some of it, but I found it just like too stupid and just
Okay, well, that's good.
it's sort of grim.
See, I can't watch much worse than Army of Darkness. I got to be honest with you. I don't like watching these gory things.
No, I don't like watching gory things either. Don't get me wrong. It's just
You love
something
Cannibal
that-
Holocaust.
Uh,
He's gonna think about that.
I don't like it. No, I don't like that film. there's something interesting about it, but it's totally sick. Really, the people who made it were just totally misguided.
Yeah.
You don't need to stop killing a bloody massive turtle to make a film.
I feel like there's something wrong with the person who does that, and that what they're trying to elicit from the audience is low class. I mean, it's not like you look at like a movie like The Exorcist. You know, it didn't need anything like that vile to elicit a feeling or a mood from an audience. Friedkin did that with good shots and God forbid, story and direction. Not like showing somebody getting slit or somebody pissing from their fucking flayed penis or some stupidity, whatever you were just describing.
Flayed penis. Oh God.
No, they're not pissing from the flayed penis.
Oh God.
Sorry, ejaculating from a flayed penis.
From a fake penis.
That's
and then there's like massive quantities of ejaculate.
Oh my God.
After he
That's not
stabbed
talented.
himself in the stomach.
That's not talented. Like that will elicit a feeling and a mood from your audience. It will get like just like that asshole Gaspar Noé. Like you'll get like a emotion and some kind of a feeling from your audience, but that's a cheap way to do it, man. Like you might as well be directing porn. Like it's just there's no nuance, there's no subtlety or skill to that kind of gory shit. And you're a sick fuck for making a movie like that.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, but some of these people, they're like proud of it, though, aren't they?
They are
a little bit.
Gaspar Noé is very much proud of it.
Well, he did make this film called Cell Contra 2 that I saw, and it's disturbing, but it's quite well made.
You give it that, okay?
I think that's Gaspar Noé.
I think it is. Is that the one where the old men are talking or whatever?
There's a guy, he's a butcher, and then he ends up butchering his family, I think.
Yeah.
It's just really grim and just sort of like...
Yeah, that one is more tolerable, but like Irreversible has some scenes in it that are just gore.
Oh, that film, right. That's the one you have a problem with.
That's for the most part, yeah. And he's
not really. Most of it is like just a prolonged rape scene in the subway.
What about the guys? He shows a guy's head getting a gay man in a gay bar getting his head bashed in after somebody tried to anally rape him in the bar. Like they go into the bar to fight to find this guy who raped his.
A guy tries to anally rape him in the bar. What?
Yeah. So when they go into the bar,
you mean in the toilets?
He's trying to. He thinks. You remember he gets the wrong guy. He thinks it's the guy who raped his girlfriend, and he starts trying to beat him up, but the guy gets the better of him. And then his buddy comes with the fire extinguisher and beats his brains in. Right?
Yeah, I remember that scene. They obviously used some very convincing early CGI on that because it does.
That was very rough. Yeah, that was gross.
That's
but
a horrific scene.
The guy who gets his head bashed in, he's fighting the first guy and he gets the better of him. It seems like he was going to anally rape him to teach him a lesson. That's the impression I got.
Well, that some people do sick things like that.
Yeah. Well, you go into a gay bar to beat up a gay man and you lose the fight, he might rape you anally as a part of the victory. That's it's what happens if you get into a fight in a gay bar. So be careful, everybody.
That is actually showing us Gaspar Noé actually made it as a sort of helpful warning to people who watch the film. They were like
gay bashers.
I'm not going to go in and beat up a gay man because I might lose and then he might rape me in the ass.
You know what? I stand corrected. You're right. I never thought of that. Whatchamacallit? That's very honorable of him.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting. I've heard that Dan Peake, the freaking slapped an actor to get the right performance in The Exorcist.
The priest at the end, when after Damien Karras has jumped out of the window and down the bottom of the stairs, he slapped that guy in the face. He was actually a real priest, wasn't he? And that's why he's shaking like that. But he also did things like he'd fire off a gun with blanks in the scene where Damien Karras is listening to the backwards voice and stuff in some lab or whatever, and he fired a gun and there's this shot where Karras goes like,
and it's and here's my thing. That if that actor had a problem with it, he should have punched Friedkin right in the fucking mouth.
Well, if you watch like the French Connection, you watch that and you feel like everything's really happening, and that's the sort of thing that he also brought to The Exorcist to a lesser degree, because The Exorcist is sort of half has this spiritual or spooky feel to it, of course, and then the other part is a sort of this more documentary style.
Gritty documentary about possession. Yeah, no, it's got that gritty feel.
Well, I won't really go to it's not a gritty documentary about possession, but yeah.
It does have a gritty feel.
It does have a real world feel to it. Like it's all shot in real locations. Like when she goes to the medical facility or wherever, and she's being given brain scan and all that kind of stuff. And then the other the thing that people hate the most in that film is where she gets the tap thing put into her neck and the blood's coming out because it looks so real and everything. But there's one guy in there in those scenes in the background, one of the lab technicians or whatever, and he actually turned out to be a serial killer.
Oh my god!
Oh really?
He's in the film, and it's just funny. But that's Friedkin's fault because he's like, Friedkin's like, we've got to make this real. Well, he's encouraging realism on this, and that guy took it too far.
Oh, is that how it happened? Well, then yes,
He's like, I was in The Exorcist. It was massive. I'm gonna go out and do some really bad shit.
Well, and in a way, you could blame him for a Dahmer, since how much Dahmer loved Exorcist 3, even though Friedkin didn't.
Even though Friedkin wasn't involved with that film,
right? But he's the Genesis, So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think to be honest, if it wasn't for The Exorcist 3, probably Dahmer wouldn't have done any of his bad shit.
I think that's true. He would never have gone gay. He would have just been a happy gay man. He wouldn't have.
That film turned him. That's why he started, and also Return of the Jedi or whatever it was, where he got the he thought he got the eyeglasses, didn't he? The eye contact lenses to look like who?
Mark Hamill.
No, one of the villains in one of the Star Wars films. So no, none of those films were not to blame for his actions. They were just things that he was obsessed by for whatever reason, and he just put it all into his crazed tapestry, didn't he?
His crazed tapestry.
Well, he was. I mean, he's like a kind of an artist, but just an artist who's taken it too far.
Oh my god!
Are you talking about Dahmer now as an artist?
That's what I thought for a second. Oh my god!
His artistry is killing gay men after having gay sex with them.
My god!
Largely black men as well.
He liked the black man. He liked men of color. Yes.
Yes, they said he moved into a black area on purpose. I'm not sure about that, but.
That's an interesting theory if it's true. I think he just had no money and that's where he could afford to live probably. But
it was just a good chance basically because black men did appeal to him. But
right.
I think basically he felt he could be manipulative towards them more.
Yeah, I mean maybe he thought the cops don't pay as much attention in a low income neighborhood. Maybe it's true.
Well, they didn't. And
well, it's also the gay relationship when a couple of gay guys are having a fight, and then the cops come and he goes, "Oh, it's just me and my boyfriend having a little fight." And then the cops might go, "Okay, whatever, pal."
Well, there's that scene where the two cops go into the apartment and then they're just more bothered about like kind of being able to wash their hands once they get out there because it smells as well.
It smells. People didn't know how people caught AIDS properly back then.
He had rotting meat in there. Actual human rotting meat. That's sick.
No, I'm not familiar with this film, Gary. I like the title though.
Is the film actually called Climax Voltaire? No, that's Gaspar, isn't it? Is it? I think it is. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll call it.
Gary, for somebody who loves Monica Bellucci, how do you watch a movie where she's in one long shot getting raped for 10 minutes? Anally.
Well, I think because Gary's not like 12. He realizes that the film is not actually a real thing. It was made.
But she's apparently I haven't seen the scene, so I can't speak.
It's not like Gary saw the film and then immediately started emailing Gaspar saying, "What did you got Monica Bellucci raped?
How dare you?" Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, I haven't seen it, but
I'm sorry, I even said that. Actually, that is just
her performance is really good as a rape victim in the film. Apparently, she's really looks like she's experiencing rape for 10 minutes in one long 10-minute shot. You know, if you think about how long a 10-minute rape shot is,
it didn't go on 10 minutes. I'm pretty sure.
It is like it's a 10. Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
Not the entirety of it. It may be 10
One
minutes
shot.
of her being pursued and then kind of, you know, grabbed by this guy. And you don't see anything. It's all just like lying down on the dirty floor of this subway. And like basically, you know, a person could come down there at any moment, you know, crossing underneath the road. So,
excuse me.
Think about it.
Think about it. No.
That guy was taking some chances.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but it doesn't last 10 minutes, the actual R scene. I don't want to keep talking about it. We've talked about some really vicious stuff tonight.
Okay, hang on. Jasper Knows says he had no idea how long the rape scene was going to last. That was in the hands of Monica Bellucci and the actor playing her assailant. He said, the results were great the first day, but even more perfect on the second. The actors were more and more confident with each other, so they could go further and further. I didn't know if it would last for 6 minutes.
Strange way of phrasing it. The results were great. But to be honest, it could be a translation issue there. I don't know. But the thing is, they see it entirely as just a film, so they're completely divorced from this idea, the impact it makes in a way.
That's a point.
But they are, intentionally being shocking, of course. But for them, it's just the construction of something. So, but there's no denying that film is obviously designed to create as much of an impact as possible.
Yeah.
On the media and just on the audience, of course, who watch it. But so.
Right, he was very happy that people. Yeah, it's a 9-minute long rape scene. Portrayed.
But I imagine in a way, once they've made the film and everything, like Gaspar is almost just like blasé about it in a way, just like, you know.
See, look at this. See, it's brutal. Even Gary says it. Gary, who loves Monica Bellucci, he said it's brutal. All right, you seem to be making.
Well, so you're saying that you think because he loves Michael Bellucci, he might have actually enjoyed the scene.
Well, he might have appreciated her acting and not thought it was so bad, that kind of thing.
Well, how much acting can you do in that kind of a scene exactly?
Well, distress and pain and.
It's not like she's just screaming throughout the whole thing. Anyway, it's fairly. I think like a lot of people are recorded as kind of being. They almost become subdued in a way, don't they? Because they're in shock.
Yeah, I don't know. I know people who I've talked to who are into these kinds of films, and even they thought that was a very tough film to watch because of that scene.
I don't know. It's just pretty strange how the film is shown in reverse as well, isn't it?
Well, which is an interesting idea too. That part is interesting. The actual story of the film,
not like Tenet, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. But the story itself is interesting, and that is an interesting way to do it. But to include the brutality in this movie and the grossness is just, I think it shows a lack of skill and talent, personally. But that's just me.
I don't know. I think there's been like a fashion for shocking films at certain periods, and I'm not sure if that's sort of kind of gone away now because.
Yeah, you know what? Serbian film's the last one I can remember. No, wasn't there one with wasn't that Lars von Trier movie with what's his name?
The House That Jack Built.
Yeah, right. That's supposedly quite bad. I haven't seen it though.
It's unpleasant, but on the other hand, it's got like Matt Dillon in it, and I mean he's good. So, yeah. I mean, I was actually watching again the other night. There's something about Mary because Johnny made a joke.
Are you serious?
A comment about the one, the guy who,
Warren.
Yeah, with the earmuffs and everything.
Yeah, Warren.
Yeah, I was genuinely watching it. I wanted to partly find out that actor though, who's in it, the one his friend who's got like the face. thing, and he says it's like lesions, and then he says I'm
The
dying
outbreak.
at one point.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, it's easily one of the Farrelly brothers' best films.
Oh,
by
for
far.
sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
just a quality film.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was. It's also. I think that was like the first. Was it that or was it Dumb and Dumber? The first kind of like return to more adult themed comedies with swearing and.
I think it would be that one because
I think it was something about
Well, I
Mary.
particularly enjoyed the shot of where Matt Dillon's character's looking through with the binoculars, and he manages to get the woman who loves tanning herself excessively, her breasts in view.
Oh my God.
And he goes, she's let herself go a bit or something.
She's have you ever seen the movie Kingpin with
Yeah, of course, yeah.
well, she's in Kingpin, remember? She's the landlord of Woody Harrelson.
Oh yeah, of course.
He has to make sex on her for her. Yeah. For his rent.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. But I mean, yeah, Kingpin is a bit more gnarly, isn't it? But yeah,
It's an
it's just
underrated.
it is a quality film.
Yeah, it really is a
overall.
quality film. There's
Some of
just
their
so
films
many-
went a bit like, like Shallow Hal. That was a bit kind of off slightly, but I
Yeah.
mean, it still had some good aspects. But it was,
It was interesting enough, but like not like.
I think it was too restricted. And like every joke is about whether someone's fat or not, or just.
Yeah, it's played out quite a bit.
I mean, the guy who from Seinfeld in it was good, but
George
Yeah, George
Costanza. Or Jason
Yeah,
Alexander.
but look at like Kingpin, like Bill Murray's performance in that is amazing. Like as that bowler who's like, oh, all the family and kids and community love him and that kind of thing.
So Gary's actually saying at the end of Irreversible that Bellucci's character is actually discovered to be pregnant. So
Yeah, well, remember the movie's in reverse, and the movie opens with her current boyfriend and the father of her child, and her ex-boyfriend going to look for her killer, and they go after the wrong dude. But yeah, so
oh, but she didn't get pregnant from the rape then.
no, she was already pregnant from her boyfriend. But the movie opens with them, I believe, in bed, and they're talking, and she reveals to him that she's pregnant. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gary. You know better than me.
Well, if that's the opening scene, though, that would be literally the last scene of the film.
No, sorry, it's the last scene. Correct. The movie closes with that, but I mean, I called it the opening because that would have been the beginning.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Right.
all right.
Right.
Well, that would make the kind of vigilante mission even more painful, wouldn't it? Too.
Yeah, I just think that movie could have been done without the gore
regardless.
and the long rape. You know what I mean? You could have
Yeah,
still had the story. The story is actually a really interesting story, and telling it backwards is actually really an interesting idea. But it could have all been done without the gore, in my opinion.
What year did this film come out when they did that?
Oh, it's like 93, 96, something like that.
Okay.
97, maybe. I don't
So
know.
even Seinfeld did an episode from beginning to end, and they got they won awards for that. I'm just reminding me of that.
Oh, yeah, that's not that original idea. He's not the first one to do that. That's for
Oh, okay.
Dan. Gasparino-
Irreversible's 2002.
Oh, okay, my mistake. See, yeah, Gasparino is not all that creative. He fancies himself very clever and talented, but he's really not. My opinion.
Well, I mean, even if he's not like majorly sort of creative in terms of certain ways that are, well, I don't know, visually or whatever. I mean, the visuals of that film are pretty good though. But actually, I'm just looking it up on Wikipedia, and it says during a night in Paris, emergency personnel respond to an altercation at the Rectum, a gay BDSM club. The club is actually called Rectum.
That's correct.
I mean, that's just out of hand.
It's a gay club in France. What do you want? I mean, they're very direct about sexuality over there.
Yeah, I know, but it's direct, and that's just like
The rectum.
budget 4.6 million. It says. Can't believe it cost that much. Box office 5.8 million, but. I'm not sure about what you said about Gaspino isn't talented, though.
I feel like if you resort to that kind of stuff, you're telling on yourself and the lack of confidence in your own talent that you have.
But then again, I've found a photo of him now, and it does make me wonder if you might be right. I'll put Gaspino's photo on the
Then
screen.
he did some movies for Netflix, Nymphomaniac, which is just like basically soft.
Oh, he did that one. Yeah.
Nymphomaniacs, that's not Gaspino.
You sure?
I thought it was.
That's what's his name, the house that Jack built. And,
That's Von Trier?
yeah.
Okay, then I'm getting the title wrong.
You're making it your background.
He did some other sex movie. He went to the sex side, like of doing like basically softcore porn in a film. Which movie is that? Hang on a second. Oh, I think that's Climax, or it's Love. That's what it is.
Oh my god.
Love. Murphy is an American living in Paris who enters a highly sexually and emotionally charged relationship with Electra, unaware of the effect.
Well, that's Gaspino. What do you think?
Hi guys.
Jesus, he's pretentious. He even looks like a.
How does the guy look pretentious from that photo?
Oh, you
He
can
just
tell.
looks like, this gay guy coming in. Would you like to go to the rectum with me and let me anally check you
Is he
out?
actually gay then?
I mean, I'm sure he's into all kinds of stuff. I don't know his sexuality though.
I'll look at his personal life. No, he's actually married to a woman. So this will make you happy. Actually, it says no suffered a near fatal brain hemorrhage in early 2012.
Well,
come
that
on.
doesn't make me happy.
Which partly,
Doctor.
just kidding, obviously. Which partly inspired the plot of his film Vortex. I think actually this new film Vortex, for instance, might be more interesting in a way than some of his other films. But
The last days of an elderly couple stricken by dementia. Personally, I have a problem. This guy.
come on, what more do you want from the film? And he's in it. He's in it. No, Dario Argento is in it as well, I think.
Oh wow.
Not sure about if he's actually in it. No, he's not in it.
I just, I would never watch that. But I have a family member suffering from that, so I have a personal reason not to watch it. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't want this fucker Gasper. No, I can only imagine he's having some.
Yeah, but I mean, the film is only 442 minutes, so I don't really know what your problem is.
There you go. Gary said Gasper knows a character in the rectum bar in the film. You think that's an accident?
So you're saying he's married to a woman as a front? She's his beard.
Yeah, and he tells her, "Oh, I've got to put myself in the rectum bar. It means nothing. I must make myself one of these gay BDSM characters."
Well, he's not got any children by the looks of things, so that, I haven't either, so that definitely means I'm gay.
Yeah, there's some people who have that theory.
Well, I'm just
No,
putting it out there.
I've met people who, even there's a
Sounds like I was thrown
there's a
at
great
James.
scene in remember in
Insults.
Departed. Remember in Departed when Alec Baldwin tells
Oh, God's sake,
Matt
don't do
Damon,
that.
and he goes, "Oh, good, you're getting married. It makes people know that you're not a fag and that you're not, and that somebody can actually put up with you."
Yeah, but his character is completely annoying, and I mean, they are the worst cops imaginable, aren't they, in that film?
I love that movie.
Particularly the Mark Wahlberg character. What a twat.
That's probably my favorite cop movie. Like that's I call that. I think of that as a cop movie. It's
No,
not
it is a very
gangster
good
movie.
film, but
As far as a cop movie, I think that's it's better than Heat. It's probably the best cop movie I can think of.
so you don't mind having shots of Jack Nicholson being shot, at the end and stuff like that.
That looks comical. Quentin Tarantino's violence looks comical to me.
I think he has some blood in his mouth and goes like, "Ugh."
Yeah, not gross. That's not.
I wouldn't
that's
say it's
not-
comical exactly, but it's
It does. It looks like Hollywood killings. Those are and people say Quentin Tarantino's violent. I don't think he is violent. I mean, his violence is comical. It's like
it's comical because
Over
the
the
Jack
top.
Nicholson character is just vile until the end, isn't he? Like he never lets up.
Well, yeah.
Surprised he didn't want holding like a dildo whilst they were shooting him or something.
Yeah, and they build up his character to the point you want to see him get killed. You know what I mean? You're relieved to see him get killed.
I mean,
And
yeah, he's a bit of a dick. Let's be honest.
They do a good
But
job in that movie.
A kind of
like,
lovable dick.
when what's his name? Martin Sheen gets killed, you're very upset. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, that's true.
he
Yeah.
does a good job. You know. Oh Jesus.
I just thought I'd really give some high tea to this show.
Oh, I hope he does a whole breakdown of Gaspar Noé's work like he did for Twin Peaks.
Yeah, that would be good, actually. Yeah, but I mean, what's Krista Bell been doing? That's what I want to know. She's been gone since last autumn, just the same as
Voltaire
Lynch.
chased her off the internet.
Have Lynch and her like set up their own love shack?
Well, he was never on. She was posting daily. I hope everything's okay. I'm not even making a joke.
No, Lynch was doing a weather report. Someone asked him, "What? Now you're not doing that? You know, is there a reason?" And he says, "No. It just means I just felt like it was the end of that, and I can sleep late now." So
Yeah, I like it better than Heat, Dan.
Really?
I get
Heat
it.
is way
And
better than Departed.
I love Departed. I like Heat. Obviously, can't not like Heat, but I
Starting
think,
to question some of your choices nowadays.
Yeah, no, it's fine. You're free to do
I'm
it.
kidding.
no, actually, I was watching Manhunter again the other night. Not the whole film, but that is a supreme film. I think Manhunter. I don't know if you two are as fond of it as me, but
I mean, I love the tiger scene.
have you never seen Manhunter, Johnny?
I don't think so.
You
Come
should at least-
on,
It's worth it for the tiger scene. They drug up a tiger real good for
it's
that.
worth it for the entire film. It's absolutely brilliant. Michael Mann's use of
Of
both
a drugged
image
up
and-
tiger.
Well, no, that's in Red Dragon as well. So you know, it's no. I don't think that film is. I don't think that scene is particularly like important.
It's a noticeably
really, but
drugged. It's a drugged up tiger. It's really drugged up. They
Of
won't
course
do
it
that
is.
kind of thing nowadays. You know.
They explain that in the film, don't they?
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be drugged.
It was going to in the film. It's supposed to be having its tooth out or something.
The animal people won't let that kind of thing happen anymore.
Yeah, it's June Allen, isn't it? And she's like a blind character. And yeah, Johnny, if you've never seen that film, Jesus Christ,
I'll check it out.
what is wrong with you?
It's worth a watch, certainly.
I mean, that and Watcher in the Woods.
Okay.
The camera work in Irreversible is outstanding, so maybe Voltaire needs to just, stop saying all this kind of stuff.
I like all those movies, Dan. Every single one you mentioned, those are all good cop movies. And I have to sit down and really think about it, but probably Departed is still my favorite of the bunch.
All right, let's call it a night now because
Yeah, I gotta get
1:15 a.m. here, so
Yeah.
I'll talk to you soon, everybody.
All right, boys.
Thank you, Voltaire. Thank you,
No, the
Johnny,
pleasure was all yours.
and yours. So let's keep it that way, okay? All right. Good night, everybody,
All
and
right.
see you in the trees.
Okay. Ciao, everyone.